The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
Well, the sun has broken through what was a very cloudy and sometimes rainy day in Cincinnati, and we welcome you to Great American Ballpark. Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Reds and the Giants. And the Reds looking for their first win in the series. They've been tightly played, if you will. A 1-run spread in Game 1, a 3-run spread in Game 2, and these two teams know all about that. 42 games decided by 3 runs or less this year for the Giants, only 1 less for the Reds. Will there be another here tonight? Hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. We talked at the beginning of this series. Giants pitching, Chris, so good. And yet another tough customer to deal with tonight in left-hander Jonathan Sanchez.
Well, it's been a couple of years since the Reds have seen Jonathan Sanchez, but I'll tell you what, he's just gotten better, not worse, over the last couple of years. Don't be misled by that even 504-4 record for Sanchez. 2.63 earned run average. This guy's unbelievable against the Reds. Last time he faced him, he struck out 10. And he's a tough, hard-throwing left-hander. You're going to see easy gas about 94 to 96. Doesn't even look like he's trying to throw hard. First couple of innings, you're going to see a lot of foul backs, like the Reds aren't getting around fast enough. Aaron Harang, it's time for him to put some zeros on the board. 12 starts, 4-6 this year. Pitching a little bit better, but boy, do the Reds need him right now.
And generally, Aaron Harang is a guy who will make his defense work behind him, and the Reds all year long, Chris, have played outstanding defensive baseball.
Well, those are 2 fly balls you saw right there. If Aaron Harang can get a ground ball double play, that would be huge because he doesn't get too many ground balls. But the Reds are up to it. They are a very athletic team. They throw ahead of the runner. They cut down base runners, and they play hard. That's a combination that helps your pitching so tremendously because, you know, pitching and defense are so intertwined.
The numbers simply don't lie. Only the Giants have a higher fielding percentage than the Reds among National League teams this year. And look at that, fewest unearned runs allowed.
That's what we're talking about right there. If you don't give up unearned runs, they count just like earned runs, and you're going to have a lot better overall percentage. Your winning percentage will be better. You won't be pitching out of the stretch as much. You don't give extra outs. All the things that consider that you make your pitching staff better has to do with defense.
Jay Bruce will be in the lineup again against a left-hander. He was mighty good against Barry Zito the other night. We'll talk more about that when we return.
In any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Our telecast of Reds baseball tonight and every night on Fox Sports Ohio, presented in beautiful high-definition television, courtesy of H.H. Gregg. Very dark, dreary day today in Cincinnati. It's turned into a beautiful night, at least, closing in on 10 minutes after 7. How about the rest of the night from Tim Hedrick?
Good evening, everybody. Rain has pushed out of the area. That means it's going to be a pretty nice night down at the old ball yard. Gradual clearing tonight from 74 down to about 69. We need a win. We need a win big. Have a good game, everybody.
All right, Tim, Reds need a win, and Jay Bruce wants to do what he did against Barry Zito the other night.
You know, I'm wondering if maybe this is the turning point for Jay Bruce as far as being a major leaguer. Tough left-hander. He hangs in there, rips a double to left, and then a home run off a curveball. That's a patented Barry Zito curveball. Slices another one to left field, picks up 3 hits against a former Cy Young Award winner. Pretty nice job for Jay Bruce in that. You know, once he starts learning to hang in there against left-handers, it'll become so much easier against right-handers.
And there you see his splits, Chris. I know you pay a lot of attention to those numbers throughout his career.
Those are this season, obviously very good. If he's hitting left-handers at a 269 clip, that is way better. That's about 80 points better than he did up until this time as a young major leaguer. So Jay Bruce, little by little, he is getting it.
And you said all along that he would hit left-handers one day. All right, Aaron Harang, big fella trying to get it rolling tonight and get the Reds a mud. Tonight's game on Fox Sports Ohio brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks 33 straight years. By Just for Men, for mustache and beard, keep your edge. And by Skyline Chili, you know it's Skyline time when you get that craving for a Skyline 3-way or cheese Tony's. Well, we are ready to roll tonight at Great American Ballpark. The Reds have taken the field. Aaron Harang, 4 up, 5 down on the year, an ERA just under 5.5, making his 13th start of the year. Giants have won the first 2 games of this series. Coming from behind to win 6-5 in the opener, and too much Matt Cain last night, a complete Game 7-hit shutout in a 3-0 San Francisco win. Ball 1 to Andres Torres, and we're underway.
Scouting report on Aaron Harang. You've seen him before. He's got good control, doesn't walk too many. He's a fly ball pitcher, but still, he needs to hit his spots. I mean, hits that outside corner to lefties and right-handers. Makes it a lot easier when you can do that.
Aaron Harang coming off his shortest start of the season, a no decision in a 4-2 loss at D.C. Friday night. He starts off Torres 3-0. In 4 innings, Harang allowed 8 hits, 2 runs, and threw 98 pitches in those 4 innings. And that's very un-Aaron Harang-like. Straightaway center field, and after falling behind 3-0, Harang will get the out on Torres. As Stubbs has to battle that bright sunshine in straightaway center. Same too for Jonny Gomes in left. We take a look at the Giants batting order presented by Remke. Big Sanchez coming up, Sandoval at third. Aubrey Huff the cleanup hitter, Juan Uribe at short, and Pat Burr. Good numbers in his career against Aaron Harang again in left. A ladder third of Buster Posey, the first baseman. Eli Whiteside behind the plate. And Jonathan Sanchez on the mound. Freddie Sanchez, a .362 batter, playing in his 20th game of the year since coming back from shoulder surgery. And Harang ahead of him at 0-2.
Tough to see right now. Tough to see for the center fielder. You saw Stubbs battling it. Tough to see for the hitter. When those clouds moved out and that sun came out, boy, this batter's eye right here. It looks pretty. It's a nice boathouse. Great place to watch a game. But boy, the sun is right in your eyes there.
Roller hooked down to Rolen, and quickly 2 away for Harang in the first inning. Take a look at the Reds on defense presented by Ford. Gomes in left. Drew Stubbs back in the lineup in center. Jay Bruce in right. Again, it's Rolen, Cabrera, Phillips, Votto along the infield. Harang and Corky Miller, the battery tonight. One more game to go in this series, an afternoon tilt, 12:35 tomorrow. A reminder, plenty of tickets are available for that game tomorrow. No television tomorrow. So the game will be broadcast, of course, like every game on the Reds radio network. Ball 1 to Sandoval. And if you haven't seen Mike Leake yet, he is pitching the day game tomorrow. He'll go into that start with a 5-0 record and a 2.22 earned run average. 2-0 on Sandoval. Fly ball center field. Stubbs is there, inning over. Good start for Aaron Harang. Throws it down in order. Reds come to bat for the first time when we return. Lineup tonight brought to you by Remke Biggs. Orlando Cabrera leads off at short. Brandon Phillips at second. Joey Votto at first. Scott Rolen, the cleanup hitter, the third baseman. Jonny Gomes in left. Jay Bruce in right. A ladder third of Drew Stubbs, the center fielder. Corky Miller catching Aaron Harang. Jonathan Sanchez has developed into a very fine starting pitcher for the Giants.
He's got a great arm, no question about that. Kind of a low 3/4 arm delivery. Some people call that almost sidearm, but he'll throw a easy fastball, 92 to 94, 95 miles an hour. But you can run on him. He has given up 12 stolen bases on the year, so if the Reds can get some runners on, they can push the running game. Very impressive batting average against. How about 183? Wow.
Sanchez, 27 years young, grew up in Puerto Rico. Originally came up with the Giants in 06, primarily out of the bullpen, again in 07 with an ERA of almost 6. I mean, I recall like it was yesterday, people wanting to throw in the towel on Sanchez. And even the following year, he went 9-12 going back into their rotation with an ERA of 5. But then last year cut that by 3/4 of a run per 9 innings. went 8-12 and off to the best start of his major league career this year. 2-2 on Cabrera, where Sanchez a season ago threw a no-hitter. The 13th no-hitter in Giants franchise history, the 5th in the San Francisco era. That came on July the 10th against San Diego. There's a bouncer through the hole in the left field, a base hit for Cabrera. On defense, the Giants shape up this way, presented by Ford. Burrow, Torres, Huff in the outfield, left, center, and right. Uribe and Sanchez, the middle infield. Sandoval and Posey on the corners. Sanchez and Eli Whiteside, third different starting catcher we've seen in the first 3 games of this series. Saw Posey back there in game 1. Benji Molina last night, and Whiteside tonight. Brandon Phillips right now the hottest hitter in the Reds lineup. No two ways about that. Had 3 more hits last night, extending his hitting streak to a season high 11 consecutive games. In fact, it's the longest by any Red this year. And during the streak, Phillips a .429 batter. Check swing Rolen. Sanchez will come out and throw out Phillips. But Cabrera advances into scoring position. 1 out.
That has the effect of a sacrifice bunt right there. You can't really complain about that. Brandon Phillips over a .300 hitter against left-handers this year, but wanted to swing the bat. But you get the runner at second base. Now you got Joey Votto coming up. Maybe Scott Rolen. Somebody could drive him in, put you a run on the board early.
Boy, great job by Jeff Pecoro and Jim Day during Reds Live tonight. Their conversation, their interview with Walt Jocketty. It was so exciting hearing him talk about Edinson Volquez. And for those of you that did not hear the news, as Joey Votto digs in with a runner at second and 1 out and takes up an in. Edinson Volquez will make a rehab start this Saturday night for Class A Lynchburg against Potomac. Coming all the way back, it'll be his first start since undergoing Tommy John elbow surgery on August the 3rd last summer. Looking forward to hearing about how he does. And if all goes well, you heard Walt talk about it. The idea is to build him up, pitch count wise, get him up over 100, and then into the Reds rotation more than likely in July.
That sounded like great news. I mean, he's got to be way ahead of schedule, right?
No doubt about it. 2-1 to Votto.
During the Reds' last homestand, he was up here for about 3 or 4 days not through batting practice, but through his bullpen sessions in the morning, and the Reds brass wowed. He looked good, too. Looked in good shape. He's been working out hard, working under the tutelage of Tom Browning down there for the most part in Goodyear. He'll get you in shape.
Oh, yeah. On the inside corner, it's strike 2 to Votto. Now, Orlando Cabrera, more than any other Red, the Reds are tied for the most steals of third base among all teams in Major League Baseball with 9 of them. And Cabrera has 4 of the 9. Votto fooled badly on that pitch and rolls out to the mound, and staying put Cabrera. Votto still without a hit in this series.
Well, with 2 strikes, you wouldn't normally see Joey Votto do this, except with 2 strikes, I should say. He's just trying to cover every pitch all over the place. That's a fastball that just eats him up inside. They have scatter reports on hitters that say you've got a strength in one part of the zone and a weakness in another part of the zone. One of the traps that hitters get into during a slump is trying to cover the entire strike zone. Tough to do.
Nothing in 1 to Scott Rolen.
Easy gas.
Rolen, a .293 batter, 14 home runs, 40 runs driven in. He has Cabrera at second with 2 away here in the Reds' first inning of a scoreless game. Apparently all that rain we had overnight last night has made its way to the eastern seaboard. Rain delays tonight in Philadelphia and in New York. St. Louis lost again last night in Los Angeles. 1-0 the final in that game. So the Reds and the Cardinals again enter play on this June the 9th, 2010, in a first place tie in the National League Central. And next in line would be the Cubs, 6.5 back. Really, the rest of the division has been quite fortunate that over the last week and a half, the Reds and the Cardinals have hit a slump for the first time in really a month and a half. And it's kept teams like the Cubs and like Milwaukee believing they have a chance to get back in this race. I mean, otherwise, those teams could easily be the Cubs, for example, instead of 6.5. They could be 9.5, 10 right now. Hammered into left field by Rolen, and the Reds will get on the board in the first inning. 41 runs batted in for Rolen. That's his 15th double, and a 1-0 lead in the first.
Boy, how immense has Scott Rolen been this year? That's a little bit of a slider, it looks like. May have been a cutter that he just kind of got over and just rolled it into the middle of the plate. But Scott Rolen was there to whack it down the left field line. And with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, the Reds continue to lead the world. Maybe not leading the world. Actually, they're just second in the National League, but it's pretty close.
No, they're first in the National League, second in the Major League, second only to Boston.
Oh, with 2 out, you're right.
And there a strike to Jonny Gomes. Johnny 7 home runs, 37 runs batted in, a .297 batting. Gomes not in the lineup last night against Matt Cain. Lance Nix got the start. Fastball jammed him. And that ball is in the mid. A nice play by Eli Whiteside. Well, it's a nice play right there. And this looked nice, too. RBI double by Scott Rolen, 1-0 Reds. I mean, the numbers are just beyond belief. You see the 1 home run. That is the only run that Arthur Rhodes has allowed all year. That's it.
You know what? I don't know if there's any coincidence to this, but Arthur Rhodes is the first to the ballpark every day. Nobody beats him here. No other player anyway. Some coaches have to come in because they've got meetings. Arthur's here at 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon, getting his game face ready. A veteran that takes it seriously.
That was in the 5th Reds game of the season. They opened the year against St. Louis. They won the first game that weekend over the Cubs 5-4. The next day the Reds lost 4-3. And that was on the pinch hit home run by Jeff Baker in the 8th inning off Arthur Rhodes. The only run he has given up this entire year. And of course, ever since then, he's gone 23 1/3 scoreless innings consecutively. Fouled away by Aubrey Huff. And we talk about it all the time. The only run he allows is a home run, and he got a once by giving up the home run. That broke a 3-3 tie. Slow roller right side, handled by Votto. 1 away. Four up, 4 down to begin the night for Aaron Harang, and now Juan Uribe. He's been their leading run producer so far this year. 38 runs batted in. He's knocked in 5 in the first 2 games of this series. Phillips bare hands and throws him out at first base. Wow.
Usually they recommend only the bare hand for balls that are rolling very slowly or stop. But Brandon Phillips coming across the bag right there has got to negotiate the bag, pick it up barehanded, and fire at the first base. I mean, he makes that look a whole lot easier than it really is.
And, you know, after watching it again, I'm not sure if he gloves that ball, reaches in and throws, if he throws out Uribe.
You're right. I think you're right.
Now Pat Burrell, 5 of 12 since being brought up from the AAA level. Began the year with Tampa Bay, was released by the Rays. Giants took a flyer on him, and so far so good. 5 hits in his first 12 at bats.
He's tickled to death to be with the Giants, get another chance, and be able to play the outfield. Telling me before batting practice that it really sickened him not to be able to fall into the role that they had for him in Tampa Bay. That it just didn't work out for one reason or another. He goes, even to this day, I'm not sure why I couldn't do it. But it's all on Pat Burrell. He knows that. But he's just happy to have another shot at it.
Say, I'm not sure there are a whole lot of players that have the thick skin of Pat Burrell. You play in Philadelphia, man. I mean, when you're going good, you're the king of the hill. But when you're getting, you know, offers every night and misplaying a ball here or there, and the team's going bad, and he had a few of those years too. Well, those were not easy years.
Well, that's a crowd that'll pelt Santa Claus with snowballs.
That's right. And there's a walk to Pat Burrell. Of course, the Reds got it done on a Scott Rolen double in the first. Every RBI this year means another $25 from Shakely for the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. First base runner of the game for the Giants against Aaron Harang. A 2-out walk. And there's a long fly ball into left center field. And the Giants lead it 2-1. That is into the second deck in left center field. And for Aaron Harang, that is now 12 home runs in 70 innings he is allowed.
I'll tell you what, when the Giants hit home runs here, they're not cheapies. This is the second time in this series that they've had a player that reached the second deck. A first pitch get-ahead curveball right there, and Buster Posey is all over it.
And of course, that comes on the heels of a 2-out walk after Harang retired the first 5 batters of the game. So here's Eli Whiteside. Whiteside doesn't get a ton of playing time, but man, when he gets it, he's made the most of it. He's already hit 4 home runs and has 5 doubles.
Yeah, they like what he's done behind the plate when they give Benji Molina a breather. I mean, the Giants have come in here now. They started 3 different catchers in the first 3 games of this series. How many teams do you know that can do that? Bruce Bochy, former catcher. Maybe he wants to surround himself with them. Of course, Posey's playing first base tonight. He caught last night, or he caught the first night when Barry Zito pitched.
Fly ball, shallow right. Phillips going out will give way to Bruce, and the inning is over. But a long 2-run home run by Posey, his first of the season, gives the Giants a 2-1 lead. Well, after jumping ahead 1-0, the Reds fall behind 2-1 on the 2-run blast by that young man, Buster Posey. Reds will send up Jay Bruce, Drew Stubbs, Corky Miller against Jonathan Sanchez in the second inning. Talked about Bruce before the game started. 3 hits against left-hander Barry Zito in the opening game of this series, Chris, but they are very different left-handers, Zito and Sanchez.
Well, there's no question about it. Zito is kind of a slow, curve-balling left-hander, and Sanchez just has one of these gifted arms. I mean, it's amazing. There's Barry Zito, but it's amazing to look back. And Sanchez must have grown his fastball since the time that he was drafted, because he was taken in the 27th round.
Hard hit ball. Posey will feed Sanchez in time.
Out of Ohio Dominican College, Sanchez did. He went there from Puerto Rico. And that was the same year, the 2004 draft, the same year the Reds took Homer Bailey in the first round.
And for those of you wondering about Ohio Dominican, it's in Columbus, Ohio. Ohio Dominican College is a prolific 4-year NAIA baseball program. And boy, what a career he had there. He authored 4 no-hitters during his collegiate career.
How do you do that and last until the 27th round?
That is a very good question. Oh, and 1 to Drew Stubbs. A ball and a strike. Drew back in the lineup tonight. Gave way to fellow rookie Chris Heisey last night. Heisey went 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. 1 and 2 to Stubbs. Kansas City comes rolling in over the weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. And then after an off day Monday, it's the Dodgers at Great American Ballpark already for the 2nd time this year. It's hard to believe, isn't it? The Reds have not played at Milwaukee, a Central Division foe. Yet they will host the Dodgers for a second 3-game series in the first 2 months. Strike 3 to Stubbs. First strikeout of the night for Sanchez. And of course on Friday night, it's another post-game Fireworks Friday show presented by Assurant Health. That'll be right after the Reds and the Royals. For tickets, call area code 513-381-REDS. 381 Reds, or go to Reds.com. Look forward to seeing you here on Friday night. Corky Miller looks for his first hit since being brought up from the minor leagues to replace the injured Ryan Hannigan. 0 for his first 6. Two and 1 to Corky Miller. People have asked this before, but Corky is his given name. Signed by the Reds as a non-drafted free agent back on June the 5th, 1998. And here he is 13 baseball seasons later. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Miller. For the Reds in 01 for 17 games, 39 games in 02, 14 games in 03, only 13 in 04. He spent time with Minnesota, 1 game for Boston in 06. Parts of 2 years with Atlanta, the White Sox last year, and back with the Reds again at the end of last season.
Well, you know, it just goes to show you that if you're a good handler of pitchers, you work hard, you come early, you accept the role of sitting on the bench, and you can catch and throw a little bit. It doesn't really matter what you hit lifetime. You can etch yourself out a very nice career as a major league catcher.
Breaking ball, strike 3 to end the inning. Reds gone in order. We play 2 and the Giants.
Yes, sir. That's going to be gone. As Ken Griffey Jr. delivers home run number 600 for his career.
Just 2 years ago, Ken Griffey Jr. his 600th career home run. Had it for you right here on Fox Sports Ohio. George Grand on the call of that grand home run. Who knows? George might be watching right now.
Might be.
Hope you're doing all right, George. We miss seeing you.
We certainly do. I think he's liking his life pretty much right now. Retired in the environs of the Northeast.
Well, I sure hope so. I know everybody else around here hopes so as well.
Got a new grandbaby to dote over.
And you know he's doing a whole bunch of that.
You better believe it.
Pitcher against pitcher to begin the Giant third. A 2-run home run by Buster Posey. He's given the Giants a 2-1 lead. There are some cheapies hit in this ballpark. That was not one of them. There's a laser off the bat of Sanchez right at Drew Stubbs. 1 away in the third.
In fact, right now, I would imagine that Rob Butcher, the media relations director, is compiling again another list of all those players that have hit the second deck here. One of those things they used to keep. Not quite as rare, anywhere near as rare as hitting the red seats in the old Riverfront Synergy Field. I think it's only been done somewhere around 60 times since the park is opened.
And of course, last night was the 600th game played here at Great American Ballpark since it opened in '03. Andres Torres flying to center, leading off the game, and rips one by Joey Votto into right field with 1 out. And you have to keep an eye on the speedy Torres. 11 of 13 in stolen base tries.
Now they're giving this young man some playing time, and he's responded very nicely. He's got speed. He can play all around the different outfield positions. Be interesting to see if they even try to push the running game right here.
Slide step used on the first pitch by Harang, and the pitch is low to Freddie Sanchez. Ball 1. Sanchez grounded out to Scott Rolen in the first inning. One and one.
You know, Aaron Harang, for a big guy, has gotten a little bit better every year at trying to hold runners. 2 years ago, he gave up 17 stolen bases, only 4 throw-em-outs. Last year, he cut that down to 13 and 5 throw-em-outs. This year, 2 stolen bases, and 3 times they've thrown him out.
Runner goes, and a bouncer again to Rolen off the bat of Sanchez, and that's out number 2. Torres in scoring position for Sandoval. A reminder, you can chat with Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy right now on FoxSportsOhio.com. And then get all the recap of the night's action after the game. FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Now Kung Fu Panda. Pablo Sandoval. He takes in the dirt. Ball 1. Of course, I guess if you really want to go out on a limb, you know, Jack Black was the voice of Kung Fu Panda, I'm told. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss, and was also the voice of Nacho Libre.
Ah, now you're talking.
And a lot of people believe that Corky Miller resembles Nacho Libre. So here they are.
Together.
right next to one another. Who would have ever thought?
Wonder if Corky's doing a little voiceover right now.
1-1 on Sandoval.
Here comes a curve. Hand to man.
2 balls and a strike. It's good stuff, isn't it? Got that boiler working?
Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, yeah. 2-1 on Sandoval. Found a way. You know, Sandoval, his weight was an issue last year, early in the year. And then once he started hitting, nobody brought it up anymore naturally.
Yeah, and they only talk about Prince Fielder when he's not hitting.
That's right.
Amazing how that works.
But when they brought him in, before winter ball started, they did want him to get down to about 240 pounds, and he got down to about 245. And then once he went down to winter ball and showed up for spring training, the 14 pounds was put right back on when he arrived in spring training. 3-2 on Sandoval. Sandoval, a very sweet-natured young man, and you know, when asked about it, he'll always have a smile. And like you just said, he said, they don't ask me about it. You guys don't ask me about it when I'm hitting. They might ask him about him on that ground out to second base. And the inning is over. Middle to third, Giants lead by a run.
Division or conference, so we feel confident he's a guy that'll move quick, and now we're fortunate because we also have Devin Mesoraca, who's also going to move quick, moved up to AA. So we've got 2 solid catchers, and catches are so hard to find and develop, so we're very pleased with that.
Our Geico direct quote from Walt Jocketty in a pregame show interview today with Jim Day and Jeff Pecoro. One and 2 on Aaron Harang, breaking ball down around his feet. And that'll even account at 2-2. Harang to be followed by Orlando Cabrera, then Brandon Phillips. Reds trailing 2-1 against Jonathan Sanchez and the Giants here in the 3rd inning. Harang is a batter this season, 5 hits in 24 at bats. He's knocked in 2 runs, has 1 extra base hit. That was a double. Three straight strikeouts for Sanchez. Got Stubbs and Miller to end the 2nd inning, and Harang to begin the 3rd. Well, you go back to the final week of April and take a look at the best records among all National League teams, brought to you by Honda. The Dodgers and the Reds running neck and neck. Atlanta has been red hot here of late. They've really come on strong the last 2.5 weeks. You see the Cardinals only 4 games over 500 in a little over a month and a half. There's some missed chances in there by the Reds. Obviously their record is very good, but you know, the number of defeats you saw on that screen, they've had a few of those get away from them. But wins nonetheless.
Well, the more you look at the National League, Tom, the more you realize that there really isn't 1 or 2 teams that seem like they're going to run away with everything. You know, everybody thought at the very beginning of the year that the Philadelphia Phillies were the team that beat. They were just so loaded offensively, but their offense went very quiet. Their pitching is suspect. Atlanta overtook them, and really it was that quick 2 games that the Reds were down in Atlanta. They gave up a big lead with a 7-run ninth inning, and that kind of propelled the Braves onto some kind of an offensive spurt.
You're right. That is a fair ball that ricochets to the right fielder. Cabrera is going to try to go to second. Here comes a throw, and it's not in time. And Cabrera, with a hustling double, is a perfect 2 for 2 tonight.
Well, you love a hitter that can do exactly what Orlando Cabrera can do. First time up, hits a shot to left field for a base hit through the third base and shortstop hole. This time, for the second time in 2 pitches, tries to go to right. He missed one foul down there. Now he goes right inside the bag, and it hits that little tarp area down there, and he ends up heading down to second base. Well, this guy has just taken to the leadoff spot. He just loves it. I mean, he just can't wait to get to the ballpark every day.
Now Brandon Phillips. He had an excuse me swing roller back to Sanchez, who threw him out in the first inning, and now an RBI chance for Brandon Phillips. We were talking about Brandon Phillips and how well he's playing right now. He is 4th in the National League in runs scored. He's 3rd in the league in doubles. Brandon Phillips is 3rd in the league in hits. Oh, 2.
And this is the guy that started off horrendously. I mean, in the month of April, he batted .236. Only had a couple of home runs, knocked in 9 over the entire month. Picked it up in May, hit 80 points higher in the month of May than he did in April. And he's 50 points higher here in June. I like that trend. And you know what I've seen about Brandon? I mean, the first couple of swings we've seen right there, those are big, wild swings. I mean, he's trying to match Buster Posey and hit one into the deck up there. But he spreads out a little bit on 2 strikes now. More of a slasher now, and see if he can't get that run in.
That is a tying run out there at second base, with the Reds down 2-1. And a swing and a miss. That pitch fooled Brandon badly.
Yeah, that's a pretty good looking breaking ball.
That's 4 strikeouts of the last 5 batters Sanchez has faced, and now it's up to Joey Votto.
Well, he's ahead in the count, and he just buries that breaking ball. That's exactly where you want to throw it. If you're a left-handed pitcher, you want to throw it to the back foot of a right-handed hitter, so that if he doesn't get his foot out of there, that baby's going to break enough to come in there and get him on the toe. That's your aim anyway. You don't want to leave that up over the plate, and he didn't do it that time.
Now would be a mighty good time for Joey Votto to get his first hit in this series. He was fooled badly on a pitch down and in, and like Phillips, bounced out to the pitcher Sanchez.
Well, you know, it seems like the teams that have seen Joey Votto enough, and of course everybody sends advanced scouts around, but that spot right there that you see Sanchez try to hit, that's where they like to throw him. It's a lot easier to get there if you're a left-handed pitcher than it is a right-handed pitcher.
Two and 0.
Sanchez's fastball will naturally run into that left-handed hitter, and he's got enough juice on it. I mean, he throws it anywhere from 91 to 95. He can get it right in under your thumbs.
Well, Votto's 36 RBIs, 7 of those have come with 2 out in an inning. Or 17 of those, not 7, I beg your pardon. And that's the most among all Reds players. 3-0 down to Votto with Rolen on deck. Taking all the way on a 3-0 pitch, and it's a strike on the outside corner.
Now you see right now Jonathan Sanchez all over the map trying to locate a pitch to Joey Votto. Finally gets a 3-0 pitch in there. No guarantee you're getting a cookie down the middle here, though.
Back up through the middle. smothered by Sanchez. It'll be an infield hit, but that's an excellent effort by Freddie Sanchez. That ball goes into center field. It's a tie game.
We used to call that a belly play back in amateur baseball. In fact, in the Midland organization, they may still call it that. That's where the infielders know ahead of time. With that runner on second base, you dive, knock it down, keep it in the infield, do whatever you can. Give up the infield hit, but do not let that ball trickle into the outfield, because you're right, Tom, that would mean a run for the Reds, and that's a tying run.
So Votto does indeed get his first hit of the series. Runners are on the corners for Scott Rolen, who knocked in the first run of the night for either team with a first inning double to left field. Fouled off to the first base side, out of play. Ball and a strike on Scott Rolen, the team leader with 41 runs batted in. And a real good chance to add to that total right here and right now. Good pitch by Sanchez on the inside edge. Rolen behind in the count with Cabrera at third, the tying run. The lead run is Joey Votto at first. 1 and 2, and here it comes. Fastball up and in. Cabrera with a 1-out double. Goes to third on a 2-out infield hit by Votto. And now the break-even pitch to Scott Rolen at 2-2. Breaking ball low and in. Good eye by Rolen. So now Votto gets started at first. Posey going to take a look at his pitcher and make sure he knows that he's playing behind Votto over there.
Really like the way the Reds hitters are working Jonathan Sanchez tonight. A lot harder than they worked Matt Cain last night. Cain was real efficient through the first 8. It's the only reason he was out there to complete it.
Three and 2 to Scott Rolen. Sanchez stands tall on the mound, and a payoff pitch is ball 4 to load him up for Jonny Gomes. Real good numbers in these situations for Jonny Gomes. They don't get much better than that. Wow. They are loaded with 2 away. And a breaking ball and a first pitch to Gomes is high, ball 1. And walk to Rolen, the first of the night, given up by Sanchez. Reds down a run. And Jonny Gomes tugging on that helmet. Two and 0. If they ever have a Jonny Gomes bobblehead night, pretty safe to say they ought to have that hand up on the bill of that helmet.
Well, really what they ought to do is have the head secured to the body and then the bobble part being the helmet.
He's always working that thing hard. There he goes.
He might leave the ground swinging at this one.
You're right. 2-0 to Jonny, and here it comes. High and away, ball 3. A pretty safe bet here. He will not get a green light. 3-0. Sanchez, having walked the prior batter, missing on 3 in a row to Gomes to start this at bat. But I guess you never know. Three and 1.
I'd like to have another one of those.
Orlando Cabrera leads at third. Joey Votto the same at second. Scott Rolen the same at first. 3 balls and a strike to Jonny Gomes. And it's a tie game on ball 4.
He was
pitching coach Dave Righetti to the man.
Sorry about that, Tom, but you know, it seemed like Jonathan Sanchez on a strikeout string there for a while. Had struck out, 4 or 5, 3 in a row, got down to the bottom of the order, and when Votto got that little base hit, he did not look like he really wanted to challenge Scott Rolen. He got behind in the count by throwing breaking balls to Jonny Gomes. And now Dave Righetti, who was a very fine left-handed flamethrower in his time, comes out there to try to give his young left-hander a little bit of advice, which is probably trust your fastball, young man. This is what's got you here.
Jay Bruce hit the ball very hard his first time up. Unfortunately for him, it was right at the first baseman, Buster Posey. But Chris, you always said this young man was going to start hitting left-handed pitching.
Yeah, I like the way he's choking up just a little bit, giving himself a little more back control. And that's a key to Jay Bruce now as opposed to earlier, whether you're talking about earlier in the season or last year or the year before. He used to chase that pitch all the time because he was so anxious.
Bases loaded for Bruce in the 1-0. Nowhere near the strike zone. Another breaking ball from Sanchez. Go figure. That ball in the air. Left center field hit pretty well. Going back to the wall is Burrow, and what a nice play he makes in front of the wall. A guy who's virtually played no defense for 3 years. And that's about his second or third real nice play in the first 3 games of this series. None bigger than that one. By JTM Food Family Fun, JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by GMC. We are professional grade. Now look at the main concourse just behind the plate here at Great American Ballpark on what has turned out to be a beautiful night. Well, a lot of gray skies and a lot of rain overnight. Gray skies and light rain on again, off again all day today. But as predicted, right around 5:30, 6 o'clock, it would peel out of here, and that it has. In the air off the bat of Aubrey Huff, and it's caught by Brandon Phillips in a 2-2 game to open the 4th inning. There's the first out. Our AT&T trivia question for tonight. since 1960. What two players started their careers with the Reds and then ended their careers with the Giants? Give a little while to think about that. Uribe in the air to Jay Bruce, and just like that, 2 quick outs in the Giant fourth.
Well, the Giants will swing the bats. We've seen that the entire series. If you come out throwing strikes early, they'll hack, especially this part of the order. Huff and Uribe, they don't sit around and wait.
As a team, the Giants have taken just 175 walks in 57 games. That's the second fewest in the league. But in their last 4 games alone, they have walked 18 times. Go figure that one. That's 2 games against the Pirates and the first 2 games of this series against the Reds. Reds pitching walked 7 last night. Only 2 in the first game. That's because the Giants had 13 hits. And Aaron Harang's only walk tonight was followed by a home run. And this is a man he walked, Pat Burrell. In and out of the middle, Corky Miller. It's 2-2 on Pat Burrell. Well, back in the prime of his career, yes, Burrell would strike out a lot, but man, he was a feared slugger in the middle of those Philadelphia Philly lineups. From 2000 to 2008, that's 9 years. He hit at least 30 or more home runs in 4 of the 9 and knocked in 80 or more runs in 7 of the 9 campaigns. Now the 2-2 pitch. Ball 3 to Pat Burrell.
Now they're trying to pitch Pat Burrell down, 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 and down and away, as you can see. He loves to cover that part of the zone against left-handers, Burrell does. Looking for a slider right here, and he doesn't get it. Walks twice. How about that?
Two walks in the game now for Aaron. And here's Posey, who followed the walk with 2 outs to Burrell in the 2nd inning and hit the 5th home run this season into the 2nd deck out in left, and the 77th home run since Great American Ballpark opened in that 2nd deck.
Well, they hit a first pitch breaking ball that time, and this particular at bat, Harang starts him off with a heater.
Harang wanted that call, and Gary Darling didn't give it to him.
And he's just off the corner. What he has not done tonight is pitch inside very much. And that's understandable in this ballpark. You just kind of get the yips. Goes inside that time and maybe try to straighten Posey up a little bit.
Well, this was a long home run by Posey back in the 2nd inning.
Are you talking about a curveball breaking into your wheelhouse? Nice young man. Got to talk to him a little bit over the last couple of days. Pretty good looking hitter, I'll tell you that.
Better believe it. Well, he's been their #1 ranked prospect for quite some time.
Well, he was drafted, I think, #1 in 2008. So they got him here to the big leagues in a hurry.
They're expecting huge things out of Posey. That was his first major league home run. He came up last year for 7 games. And this will be a major league fly ball to right, which will retire the side. So a 2-out walk to Burrell, no damage done. Reds will bat in the 4th in a 2-2 game. The Ohio Department of Public Safety. All right, now listen up. If you go to foxsportsohio.com right now and you enter the keyword slider, you have a chance to win a catered party for 20 from Curly's Barbecue, a 50-inch high-definition television, and a $500 gas card. Now, Chris, that is a red, white, and blue barbecue supreme.
What do you have to you enter? Slider?
Slider.
That's a great contest there.
Oh, man. I mean, you fire up that big screen, bring in the barbecue, fill up your car with gas a number of times.
You might be able to fill your car up twice with that.
Maybe. Diesel, baby. 1 and 2 on Drew Stubbs. That's an armored tank. Down and in, 2 and 2 to Stubbs. Pitch on the way from Sanchez and a breaking ball. And this fielded by Sanchez, turns, throws, and it pulls the first baseman Posey off the bag. Well, that was the only chance they would have to get Stubbs. Not even sure a good throw would have had him, but if the third baseman has to field it, forget about it.
Well, Drew Stubbs just runs so well, and coming from the right side of the batter's box where you have one more step from the lefty, he gets down the line as well as anybody in the league.
It is impossible for me to believe that there is a faster player in the league than Stubbs. I'm not saying that he is the fastest, but it's impossible to believe that in terms of just a foot race and anybody pure speed-wise is faster than that guy. You agree?
Yeah, we talked about that in Washington because they've got a couple of real speedsters there, Niger Morgan and Roger Bernardina. And we were kind of posing the question back and forth to Rob Dibble and Bob Carpenter, their announcers, and we concluded that we need to race because we liked our guy and they liked their guys.
That is already the 10th infield hit this year for Drew Stubbs. Boy, if he could hone that skill of bunting a little bit. Now, he's a guy that can hit the ball in the seat, so not like a Brett Butler, a kind of center fielder, a leadoff man, which Stubbs might become again in his career. Stubbs has a lot more power.
Yeah, but you still like to be able to add that weapon to your arsenal. And he does bunt, and he's a pretty accomplished bunter. But where he does not bunt is that push bunt to the right side, the one that we used to see Norris Hopper do so effectively. And if he could get that down, I mean, he'd be a 300 hitter every year. All you need to do is drop about 10 bunts a year, and you're there. I mean, the difference between a 250 hitter and a 300 hitter is 2 hits a week. And with his speed, he'd make a lot of second basemen nervous about playing deep.
2-0 out of Corky Miller in a 2-2 game. There goes Stubbs, and that ball is hit hard into right field. But Huff will get to it at the track. The Reds trying to play a little hit and run right there, and Corky just lifted it in the air. Now let's answer our AT&T trivia question. The only 2 players since 1960 to begin their careers as a Cincinnati Red and end it as a San Francisco Giant. Eric Davis and Mike Lacoste. I forgot Eric Davis wrapped up his career as a Giant. I knew Lacoste did. Well, he spent a lot of years with the Giants after leaving the Reds. Mike Lacoste. For those who don't remember him, he was about throw down to second base on the bunt attempt, and this will be a double play to end the inning. So that takes care of that. We go to the fifth in a 2-2 game. Home run of his career, August the 20th, 2009 for Drew Stubbs, a game winner on Bobby Harang. Now that's a way to get your first career home run, isn't it? Two runs, 2 hits for the Giants. They've left 2 men on base. 2 runs, 5 hits, 4 left for the Reds. And here in the 5th inning, it'll be 8-9-1 in the Giant batting order. Eli Whiteside, Jonathan Sanchez, Andres Torres against Aaron Harang.
Now the pitches after 4 innings between last time out for Aaron Harang. That was in Washington. He struggled mightily in that ball game. He only gave up 2 runs in those 4 innings, but he was just so beat after 4 innings and 98 pitches, they hauled him out of there. But he is so much more efficient tonight. Destined to go deep into a ball game when you're that efficient.
Out on a play, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This is the part of the order really in the National League, though, that you want to get in and out of the inning just as quickly as you possibly can. You're not taking anything away from Eli Whiteside. 280 hitter with 4 home runs, but Corky wants to go up the ladder right here.
Well, this should be the first out of the inning. Stubbs in to get it, and it is.
You know, we're seeing Aaron Harang do that a lot more over his last few starts. It seemed to me like in the month of April, Aaron Harang almost wanted to be a sinker ball pitcher. He kept pitching down in the zone with 2 seamers, and that ball would run off the plate side to side, but really wouldn't turn over because his delivery is so pure and he gets behind the ball, he has a hard time making it sink. Whereas other guys like Mike Leake, it sinks naturally for him. So he's more of an up and down north and south pitcher, and he can throw that fastball up there because it really doesn't sink and hitters never get on top of it, or nearly never get on top of it. Longer delivery that time, longer stride for Aaron Harang. I like to see that same shot in slow-mo from, say, around the third base camera, where you can see him really extend himself towards home. I mean, he's 6'7". You got to get way out over his front leg and be close to home plate when he releases it.
Check swing and a miss. And that's strike 3 to Sanchez. First strikeout tonight for Aaron Harang, and the first 2 retired.
Here's the shot we were looking for, staying back over the rubber with his back leg, and at 6'7", that's a pretty good stride. Not as long as he could probably do it, but as long as he feels comfortable doing it. And it's about a foot longer than it was last year.
Right now, Andres Torres with 2 down and nobody on. And it's a ball and a strike to the Giants center fielder. Ground ball to Joey Votto. He will feed Harang in time to end the inning. So he did what you suggested, Chris Welsh. Took care of business there in the fifth. In attendance. Receive a bobblehead of the Reds third baseman Scotty Rolen, thanks to Kroger. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to Reds.com. A look into the Commonwealth. Some of the boaters out. Maybe thinking earlier today they wouldn't be able to do that tonight. But it's turned into a beautiful night. And the Reds and the Giants in game 3 of this 4-game series knotted at 2. And the top of the order for the Reds. A perfect night for Cabrera. A single, a double has scored both runs. 1-1 to Orlando. Count even on Cabrera, 2-2. Brandon Phillips due up next, and Joey Votto. That trio trying to break this 2-2 tie. And that's jerk foul. Again, the 2-2 pitch coming. And a flare into center field, and that'll fall and roll by the center fielder Torres. Cabrera on his way to second base, and he'll stop right there with his third hit tonight and his second double of the night.
Well, Orlando Cabrera's done his part to get this offense going tonight. He's been on base every time. He scored both of the Reds' runs, and he does it again to get the inning going. Do-or-die play for Andres Torres. He comes in to try to shoestring that ball, but you know, when you come in to do that, you've got to get your body in front of it. You can't just play it off to the side for the reason that happens right here when he doesn't get there and the ball goes underneath his glove. So he gambles, loses. The Reds pick up a runner in scoring position. Now Brandon Phillips would like to get him over to third.
Brandon taking a looking around. The Giants wondering if Phillips would be asked to sacrifice here. Their first baseman Buster Posey about a step in front of the bag at first. Sandoval even with the bag on the other corner at third. And that one's in the air to left field. You got to believe Cabrera's tagging here. And no, he does not, as Pearl makes the throw to the cutoff man. Thought for a moment that Cabrera might give it a try. So Phillips with an out and fails to advance a runner.
Yeah, that's not really a great out for Brandon Phillips. I mean, as hot as he is, he probably saw a pitch there that he thought he could drive and hit real hard somewhere. Just got underneath it a little bit. But it would be so much easier for Joey Votto to drive that runner in from third.
Votto coming off his first hit in the series. It looked like he would knock in a run on a ground ball back up through the middle. But Freddie Sanchez dove on top of it just before it trickled into the outfield grass, stopping Cabrera, the runner then at third base. Cabrera wound up scoring when Sanchez walked the next two hitters, Rolen and Gomes, in the third inning to tie the game at 2. And there's a fly ball that would have knocked in the go-ahead run. Instead, it's a second out. And after a leadoff double by Cabrera, he's still standing there.
Hey, Reds fans, JTM wants to know how you32. Grab a bag of JTM's new 32-count burgers and visit howdoyou32.com for more details. JTM, food, family, fun.
Nicely done. You had a few problems with that last night.
I did. I worked on it. I think I've got it down now.
Yeah, I think you did. Here's Scott Rolen. And it's off the end of the bat, but it's down the line, and that is a foul ball. Goodness gracious. Thought Rolen had another double and another run batted in. He'll need a new bat. Rolen right back in there behind in the count 0-1. Sanchez distracted by all the bouncing around Orlando Cabrera is doing out there off the second base bag. And now he'll try and refocus on the batter Rolen. He misses 1-1. That ball driven home into deep right center field, and that is going all the way up against the wall. It is another RBI double for Scott Rolen, his second tonight. Now 42 runs batted in for Rolen, and this one gives the Reds a 3-2 lead.
It's like somebody took the personal health clock of Scott Rolen and unwound it 10 years, because he is swinging the bat like a young man. Waiting back, seeing it on the outer part of the plate, and just driving it big time. That is the biggest difference between Scott Rolen this year and what we saw of him when he came over last year. Man, oh man, nothing sweeter than a 2-out ribeye.
Man, what a year he's having indeed. What a year. I mean, after 2 months, he's back among the elite again. Now, granted, it is 2 months. He is a little longer in the tooth than a lot of guys that are playing regularly, playing every day in Major League Baseball. Dusty's done a nice job spotting him time to time.
Yep. He's having fun, so it doesn't seem like work.
That's the third time in an identical spot that Jonny Gomes has been hit in the last week. In St. Louis, he got drilled on the left thigh twice, you may remember. And now a week later, drilled again. Well, that was on the knee.
Yeah, that got him on the knee. I mean, I don't think he would mind being hit at all where he was earlier, which was the upper outer thigh. But when you get around there, that's on bone. Put your hand down there right now and feel the outside of your leg. There is a lot of bone down there around your knee. Ouch. You know, they're doing their damage tonight against a guy who's pitched against the Reds 2 times in his career. Hasn't pitched since 2008 against them, but last time he did, I mean, he throttled the Reds. Gave up 4 hits, struck out 10. In fact, they don't give up very many hits at all. Jonathan Sanchez gives up an average of 183 against him. The Giants are first in the league as a team in lowest opponent batting average. But the Reds, as you know, they lead the National League in hitting with 276, and they picked up 7 hits tonight.
Ball one to Jay Bruce, another guy who's hit the ball very hard twice tonight. A rocket one hopper at Buster Posey, and that drive to left center field on a leaping catch made by Pat Burrell in front of the wall, leaving the bases loaded. But this time, a routine ground ball to Sanchez. But the Reds break the 2-2 tie on a 2-out run scoring double from Scotty Rolen. 3-2 Reds at the end of.
Now for our Meyer text poll question of the night, the Giants in town. And we'd like to know, who is your favorite Giants slugger of all time? Is it 1, Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, 2, Barry Bonds, text 3 for Mel Ott, or 4 for Willie McCovey? 37664 is where you text your votes to 37664. And as we send it to the booth, a guy that was just on the big screen, Peter Edward Rose, played against probably all these, well, not Barry Bonds, but certainly McCovey, Willie Mays. Big ovation for Peter Edward down there.
As there should be. I mean, everybody's springing from their seats, and Pete just pointed to the sea for his beloved Cincinnati Reds. That one popped up into foul ground, and Joey Votto runs out of room. This is a very important inning now for Aaron Harang. So you talked about, Chris, the last inning, 8-9-1, and how you want to get through that. Low pitch count, no damage. That he did. Here in the 6th, 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. Sanchez, Sandoval, and then Aubrey Huff. And it's pulled into left field. Jonny Gomes will run it down shy of the track. Good play by Johnny.
Well, it's also a big inning because it's a momentum grabber. You grab the lead in this inning, you want to thump them right there and say, all right, let's get Sanchez right back out there. And Harang has done his part. Got ahead of Sanchez there, 0-2. Got a breaking ball that he flies out to Jonny Gomes, who's playing a pretty doggone good left field defensively this year.
Well, here you see the Meyer text poll results so far. Willie Mays in a landslide. Tell you what, I don't know what the guy did, if he did anything at all. I wasn't old enough to see Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, but I'll tell you one thing, brother. Having a chance to broadcast inside that National League West for 10 years. Good play by Rolen to throw out Sandoval. And watching the Giants play probably about 25 times a year on average. I have never seen, and I don't know if I ever will see, another guy who had a 10-year run like Barry Bonds. That guy was sick.
He pretty much had the baseball swing perfected, did he not?
I mean, guy was amazing. I mean, Joe Morgan will tell stories. He's seen him, of course. But, I mean, you go in to play him. You play him in a 3-game series. Say he got 12 plate appearances. He'd be intentionally walked 6 times. And that's not an exaggeration. He was getting walked over 200 times a year. And he might get 1 pitch to hit every game and would seemingly never miss it. Now, I'm not suggesting he hit a home run every time, but he would hit a missile somewhere seemingly every time he took a rip for a decade. Guy was unbelievable. And again, that's not getting into the whole debate about what he did do or what he didn't do. But he could mash. And the last time I checked, whether people want to agree with it, disagree with it, get upset about it, like it, love it, doesn't matter. He is still baseball's all-time home run leader.
Best player I ever saw.
No doubt. That ball hammered down the right field line. Jay Bruce will fire back into Brandon Phillips after a 2-out double from Aubrey Huff.
Oh boy, Aubrey Huff has been real quiet in this series so far. He's picked up a hit, a couple of walks, but that's the hardest ball he has hit. Looked like a changeup that Harang threw, caught him out of the plate, and he rips it down the right field line.
Well, now you have a base open. Granted, you have another right-handed batter coming up behind Uribe in Pat Burrell. But Uribe has been their best RBI hitter. He's driven in 38 runs this season. But tonight is 0 for 2. Found out a play. Well, Joe Morgan has been very, very close friends with Pete Rose. Obviously, not only when they were teammates together, but lo, these many years. They have stayed extremely close. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And a bouncer foul. Oh, and 2 on Uribe, and it misses away. Tying run out there is Huff at second base after a 2-out double here in the 6th inning. Harang trying to strand him right there, and does on a swing and a miss by Uribe.
Good breaking ball.
Real good. Harang has only allowed 3 hits. Middle of the 6th, the Reds with a 3-2 lead. Nearly popped out of there, but he squeezes it tightly in snow cone fashion. Yes, indeed, Eli, you've got it. And that was the Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The night is over for Jonathan Sanchez. He'll give way to Sergio Romo. We saw Romo in the opening game of this series. In fact, he picked up his 2nd win of the year in the series opening.
Yeah, he did it with 1 inning of work, too. He came in the 6th inning, struck out Cabrera, got Brandon Phillips, and then hit Joey Votto. He was lifted from the ball game and ended up picking up the win in that game.
Through Stubbs on the very first pitch from Romo. Drives one deep to straightaway center field. Goodbye. Number 7 for Drew Stubbs, and it's a 2-run lead.
Drew Stubbs, you were talking about his power time, and he gets a ball up right there, and boy, you just let it fly in this ballpark. Looked like a cutter or a breaking ball that he just fired up in the upper end of the zone, and you don't do that here.
One to Corky Miller, who was struck out looking and lined out to right. Into center field and caught out there by Torres, and Corky's got to wonder, what do I got to do to get a hit? Lined out to right now. Line drive. He hit right on the screws to center.
He hit that so much on the screws that you see the tumbling catch by Andres Torres. I think that ball was knuckling as it came out there, as hard as that ball was hit. It looked like Torres did not negotiate that very easily. Look at that ball move. You can see some movement on that at the very end. If you hit it hard enough, it's a 115-mile-an-hour knuckleball.
So 1 away, and now Aaron Harang, the batter. Harang has thrown a very nice game so far here tonight through 6 innings. Swung on and fouled out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Harang. Orlando Cabrera on deck. Drew Stubbs a home run to begin this home half of the 6th inning. And now Harang with a 2-run cushion. He was given a 1-0 lead after the first inning of this one. Then gave up a 2-run home run to Posey the very next half inning. The Reds tied the game in the 3rd on a bases-loaded walk to Jonny Gomes. Scott Rolen broke the tie in the 5th with a 2-out RBI double, and now the home run by Drew here in the 6th. 2 outs. We'll take your family out for some fun this coming Sunday. It's the next Meyer Family Day. And don't forget, when one family member buys a full price ticket, the entire family gets non-premium tickets half price. Call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com/family. And again, we always remind you that offer valid in advance of game day only. Like to send out a big hello to a great Reds fan. 92 years young is Mr. Herb Corson, a prisoner of war. Lives in Dayton, Ohio. That ball hit down the left field line by Cabrera, and it's up against the wall. It'll be a 4th hit and a 3rd double for Orlando Cabrera. What a night for Orlando. He's also scored 3 runs.
Now they are dancing in the streets of Cartagena tonight watching this ball game. He's been all over the place. He's hit a double down the right field line. He's hit a double to dead center field. He says, hey, I haven't hit one to the left yet. I'll hit it this time.
That ties the career high 4 hits in a game for Orlando Cabrera. 12th time he's had 4 hits in a game. Just want to finish that hello to Herb Corson up in Dayton. His wife of 62 years, Janice, watches every game with him. She is 84 years young. And they're watching the Reds tonight. Proud parents of 3 children. They watch the Reds, Chris, every single night. Herb would love to come to a game, but it's a little bit tough right now for him at 92. But Herb, we send out a big hello and thanks so much for watching and hope you're doing well.
Yeah, Herb. Congratulations.
And thanks for your service.
Absolutely.
POW. He knows all about red, white, and blue. And Brandon Phillips on a base hit into left field. They're going to wave around Cabrera. Here comes the throw to the plate. The slide. No slide. He went dancing over top of him. But he was tagged out on the way by. Cabrera can't believe he was tagged. The home plate umpire, Gary Darling, says he tagged you on the foot. I'm not sure Cabrera's buying it. But he is called out, and Dusty Baker will again argue with Gary Darling. We'll take another look when we come.
That shows he does not. Misses the foot. Gary Darling, in really the only spot he can be in, is home plate umpire right there. Tries to get the best angle. Said he tagged him on the foot, which he does not do right there, as you can see. Orlando Cabrera reacted like, hey, I didn't feel anything.
Well, it's a 2-run lead as we begin the 7th, and on the first pitch of the inning, Pat Burrell swings a bat after having been walked twice already in the game and grounds out to Scott Rolen. Well, what an excellent game Aaron Harang is pitching here tonight. I mean, this was the Aaron Harang we saw up until 2 years ago on a pretty regular basis.
Well, you know what I've noticed about Aaron Harang tonight is that he's changing speeds on his breaking ball a lot more. He's had 1 strikeout on his real slow curveball, and he's also using his slider. There was a time there that he was kind of trying to sink the ball and throwing slider and mixing it a changeup, but there wasn't a lot of variation between the speeds on his breaking ball. I think that's always one of the things that pitchers strive for. I know there was always one thing that Robin Roberts always said. So first pitch strikes, have 2 speeds on your breaking ball, and get a decision on a 2-2 count.
Off the end of the bat, dumped into center field by Posey. And he's aboard with 1 out in tonight's game on Fox Sports Ohio, being brought to you in part by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com, and by Grainger, with over 900,000 products for the ones who get it done. Along the banks of the Ohio, 1 on, 1 out. We're in the Giants' 7th inning. And the Reds with a 2-run lead. The tying run comes to the plate. Eli Whiteside digging in. And off the glove of Harang, but a bad hop over the glove of Orlando Cabrera. And you almost wonder if the deflection caused that spin on the ball, which maybe gave it a little top spin there, or whether it just hit the dirt and took a bad bounce.
Well, as a pitcher, you want to grab everything that comes in there. It did tick off the glove, and I think it just... It may have taken a little bit higher hop than Orlando Cabrera had thought, but it's certainly catchable ball right there. It looks like he was kind of bringing his glove in a little too soon. Had a hit or an error.
Travis Ishikawa will come up and bat now for Sergio Romo. Romo went 1 inning, allowed 3 hits and a run. Fortunate not to give up more than that on the call at home plate. And now all of a sudden, after talking about how well things were going for Aaron Harang, a single into center field off the end of the bat, a bouncer that ricochets off his glove, takes a bad hop on his shortstop behind him, trying to turn a double play. And all of a sudden, the tying run is on, and the lead run comes to the plate with 1 out.
He's been efficient tonight. Only 98 of them here in the 7th inning.
Ishikawa off the Giants bench, a .259 hitter with a home run and 2 batted in. Down a strike. You see the only home run for Ishikawa this year, a pinch hit home run. Strike 2. And that pitch in the dirt gets away from Miller, and now all of a sudden the tying run is standing in scoring position. That'll be a wild pitch on Aaron Harang. Not much Corky could do about that.
He moved his body out there as best he could. It just took a wild hop. We've talked about that before. And it hit right the corner of the plate. You see, you combine that with the spin of that breaking ball, and there's no way you know where that ball is going to go.
Well, now the Giants are a base hit away from tying this game. Another breaking ball again in the dirt, smothered by Miller. 2-2 on Travis Ishikawa. Been a very reliable pinch hitter. Numbers wise, the best so far in the National League is Ishikawa. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. He didn't like it. Strikeout number 3 in the game for Aaron Harang.
Just a gutsy pitch by Aaron Harang right here. After a couple of breaking balls, he freezes the left-handed hitter on that one.
All right, now 1 more out to go. It's Andres Torres. 1 for 3 is fly to center, single to right, and grounded out to Votto at first. Reds 4, Giants 2. We're in the 7th. Ball 1. Reds have action in their bullpen for the first time tonight. Logan Ondrusek, the big tall right-hander. Daniel Ray Herrera, the southpaw. One-0 delivery. on the outside corner. Got to wonder if Dusty would go again to Arthur Rhodes tonight. He's pitched the first 2 games of this series and come into both games with his team behind. And now with the Reds ahead, you got to wonder if Rhodes is going to be there to try and protect the lead. 1-2.
Well, it sure does not look like Aaron Harang is losing anything. That fastball at 93 is just about as hard as he's thrown any of them on the night. Pitching good aggressive baseball here with a couple of runners on. That's what you like to see.
1 ball, 2 strike pitches on the way. And a breaking ball that Torres doesn't chase. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 on and 2 out in a 2-run game. Full count. And the bases are now loaded.
Now, it didn't look like he wanted to give in right there to Andres Torres. Left-handed hitter. He had him set up for a nice changeup low and away, and he just missed with it. Threw him an inside fastball on the 2-2 pitch. Missed there, went 3-2, and then threw the changeup and buried it in the dirt.
Of course, you say that, now you're forced to face maybe the best pure hitter in their lineup with the bases loaded, although Sanchez tonight is 0 for 3.
No doubt. This guy can flat out hit. Former batting title winner.
Well, Harang has been so good in his career. I mean, that is a dynamite average. Opponent's batting average against with the bases loaded. And now all of a sudden, after walking only 2 batters through the front 6 2/3, he got ahead of Andres Torres, a left-handed batter, a guy who's bounced around in his career, and then nibbles around with him to go to ball 3 and ball 4 to load him up for Sanchez, and has fallen behind 2-0. This is a huge pitch coming up in this game right here and right now. The Sanchez is looking for something to hit here. 2-0. Ball 3. Well, the same thing on 2-0 applies to 3-1. Sanchez doesn't even leave the batter's box. Lines it hard into right center field, and Bruce is there to run it down. The Giants leave them loaded. Reds lead 4-2. Time now for the Home Depot doing more on defense play of the game. Corky Pillar thought he had his first hit since being brought up. Lines one to left and a diving catch made by Andres Torres. New pitcher on the mound for the Giants, a former Red, who's found a home out in San Francisco. Had a great year last year, not nearly the success so far this year for Jeremy Affeldt.
He's got a pretty good arm, and they really loved what he did since being traded out to, or actually signed as a free agent out there. Jeremy Affeldt did after he left the Reds. Hard throwing right-hander. Originally when he came with the Reds, he wanted to be a starter. That didn't work out for him, but he was a pretty good reliever out of the bullpen.
Joey Votto to lead things off. Looks at a breaking ball away. Daniel Ray Herrera continues to throw in the Reds bullpen. Votto taking all the way 2-0.
Hey, sometimes when you look at the stuff that Jeremy Affeldt, it's almost like Nick Massett. You wonder how the guy gets hit. He's got a great fastball, a hammer of a breaking ball. But he's had control problems this year, and that's been the problem. He's pitched 17 innings and he's walked 13 batters. So every time you turn around, you combine that with the number of hits he's given up, which is 18. He's pitching out of the stretch all the time, and for a reason.
Well, that's really been a story for Affeldt's career. A lot of people thought he was going to be a great pitcher when he first came to the major leagues, just based on what you just mentioned, Chris Stubbs. But, I mean, control has been the #1 issue in his entire career. He's had a good career. And he walks a left-handed batter, which, of course, he's brought into face and try to get out. We remind you to come on down to Fat Cats on Friday at 6 o'clock. Your chance to test your Reds knowledge. And who knows, you might end up on Reds Live after the game on Fox Sports Ohio. Being part of the fun at Fat Cats. Be like Chris Welsh and be a fat cat.
Oh, yeah. I'm a lot of things. That's not one of them.
Like one of Scott Rolen. Oh, no, you are indeed a fat cat. There's no debate about it. One and one to Rolen, who's been right in the middle of everything yet again tonight. An RBI double to left field in the first inning. He walked in the third and then broke the tie with an RBI double to right center in the fifth. Drew Stubbs homered to make it a 2-run spread, and that's where we stand here in the seventh. And Rolen down the right field line, and it'll fall in a base hit. Votto read it beautifully all the way, and he'll advance first to third.
The Reds had a hard time centering up the ball at all last night. Tonight they've had 10 hits fall in for them. This one, a little flare job with some little slice on it, gets right in front of Aubrey Huff out in right field. Huff took kind of a long and circuitous route towards that ball. I mean, with the way this Giants roster is aligned, Bruce Bochy's got guys playing in positions that they're not normally used to playing a whole lot. Trying to find some offense. Reds can tack on some more right here.
In the dirt, that pitch nearly hit Jonny Gomes, who was hit on the left knee his last time up. It is a wild pitch which advances Rolen on to second base.
I want to send out birthday wishes to a guy that never misses a game. 90 years young tonight out in Claremont County, George Bowles. George, happy birthday to you. Your daughter Georgia Anderson wishes you happy birthday, and she says no matter what they're doing, he's got the Reds game going on.
Nice. Happy birthday indeed. See if Jonny Gomes can't give him a nice birthday present with a big 3-run big fly right now.
That would work.
What do you think about that?
Blow out those candles.
Denny Bautista, throwing right-hander, cranking it up in the Giant bullpen. And Jonny Gomes, there's a birthday present for you, George. This will be a 2-run double to right field. How about Johnny? And that makes it a 6-2 Reds lead here in the 7th inning.
I remember one thing Kevin Mitchell said when he was a Red: never try to pull a high pitch. And Jonny Gomes prescribes to that particular hitting theory, slashing it down the right field line all the way down to the corner, scores a couple of runners, ends up on second base. And the Reds are tacking some on here.
4-run lead now in the 7th. Gomes now with 30, or make that 40 RBIs. He had that bases loaded walk, I forgot, back in the 3rd inning. So 3 of them tonight for Gomes. So now 2 Reds with 40 or more runs batted in. That one's butted straight up into the air by Jay Bruce. Jay trying to get that runner down to 3rd. And that'll be Drew Stubbs.
Boy, opposite field hits tonight have been so big for the Reds. A big opposite field double by Scott Rolen off the wall in right center field. That opposite field double by Jonny Gomes. Rolen hit another base hit in this inning, opposite field. Those are the kind of hits that make your batting coach awfully happy.
Drew Stubbs, a batter. And a breaking ball in there, strike. Well, you take a look down there in the front row. One of our good friends, radio talk show host in Columbus, Ohio, Kirk Herbstreit. He and his wife enjoying the game. Look at those 4 boys. I mean, are they a spitting image of their old man sitting down there? Their family just huge Reds fans. I mean, Kirk up on his radio show in Columbus is talking about the Reds all the time, whether they're having a real good year and not a good year. Former team captain, as was his father, for Ohio State University football. Fouled back out of play by Stubbs.
Those kids are eating like Buckeye linebackers, aren't they?
Well, I'm sure that they have a grand plan for all 4 to be exact. One the quarterback, one the safety, one an inside linebacker, and another a wide receiver.
By the family meal plan.
Well, it's amazing, you know, when you think about it. Your dad, a team captain on their football team, and then the son the same. That's quite an accomplishment. Pepper Johnson, the same thing. He and his son. And there's one more, and I'm forgetting it, doggone it. I think they've only had 3 father-son captains in the history of the Buckeye program. 2-2 the count on Drew Stubbs. And he's out of there on strike, 2nd out of the inning.
We saw Gene Bennett and Barry Larkin during draft night. I want to wish all the teams who are going to be playing out in the Gene Bennett Baseball Classic out in Wheelersburg, Ohio. Good luck this weekend. They're playing at Branch Rickey Park. Wow.
A couple big names there.
Well, you're not kidding about that. And they're huge out there.
Of course, you go to that dinner during the wintertime they have.
Yeah, we'd love to get you out there if you've ever.
I wanted to go last year.
Schedule.
There's Corky Miller, and he takes down an in ball 1. Pitcher spot due up next, and Chris Heisey is already in the on-deck circle. Aaron Harang up over 110 pitches in the game and had to escape that bases-loaded jam in the top of this 7th inning. His night is probably over. See if Corky Miller can get a hit. He has hit 2 balls so hard tonight. One of them on a line drive to right, and that diving play in center made by Torres.
You know, he'd love to get a hit. I think everybody would love to see it happen. But what he's done behind the plate for Aaron Harang tonight, that's why he's in there.
One hopper down to sand the ball. Hard one hopper. And he'll tag out the runner Jonny Gomes to end the inning. But Johnny, a 2-run double. And the Reds with a 4-run lead at the end of 7. Aaron Harang, as he gives way now to Daniel Herrera. You know, Aaron Harang has been a very good pitcher for the Reds for a long time. And clearly the last couple of years he's not been the same guy. And he's come under a lot of heat from both the fans and the press. Well, the numbers aren't what they are coming into the game tonight. But I tell you, he really stepped up when the Reds needed a big-time performance from a starter. There's a sharp 2-hopper down to Votto, and he'll feed Herrera at the bag for the first out. Harang goes 7 innings, allows only 5 hits and 2 runs. And perhaps Aaron's saying to a lot of people, hang on a minute now. Oh, we're only 12 starts into this season now, 13 for Aaron Harang, and he's got some good baseball and some good pitching left in him. Threw 114 pitches in the game tonight. You know, there's been so much talk, Chris, and I mean, heck, we do it. We're no different than anybody watching the game right now. You know, we're no different than the fans or even the talk show host. You know, we don't get paid to go on the radio and talk about this topic and don't have a chance on the air to talk to fans. But, you know, you can go to the grocery store. I run down to the drugstore, whatever. I mean, they're asking the same thing. You know, what are they going to do? Harang, Bailey, LeCure. I mean, that's the talk of this team right now.
Sure it is. Well, at least they're talking about the team.
That's right.
And that's what you know, as you said, the Giants broadcasters, Mike Krukow and Dwayne Kuiper, said to you the first thing, hey, they're talking about these guys in this town, aren't they?
Everybody wondering, you know, who's going to go to the bullpen? Is LeCure going to stay here? You heard Jeff and Jim talking to Walt Jocketty about that before the game tonight, perhaps in Reds Alive. And everybody wondering, okay, Homer Bailey's due to come back. Is he going to start on Sunday? Is LeCure going to the bullpen? Is he going to the minor leagues? Is Aaron Harang going to the bullpen?
Well, you know, based on what Walt Jocketty said tonight, he didn't say anything definitive about a time frame for Edinson Volquez, but he is on track. He's throwing the ball probably ahead of schedule. So, memo to whoever is trying to nail down a spot in the rotation, Volquez is on the way up, and he'll be here sometime in July. So, between now and then, you better get it all together.
You are 100% accurate about that, because somebody's spot will disappear literally overnight.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about a guy who won 17 games 2 years ago and pitched in the All-Star game. Well, Logan Andrusik was up earlier. Daniel Herrera comes in, retires Sandoval, gives up a single to Huff. Daniel Ray will leave. Logan will enter, and we will leave. The Reds lead by 4 in the 8th with 1 on and 1 out. Back in a moment. It's at bat 2010. Don't miss a moment all year long. Visit Reds.com to buy. Well, the Reds 6 runs, 12 hits. They've left 8 men on base. The Giants 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors, have stranded 6. And now taking on for Daniel Herrera with 1 on and 1 out is Logan Andrusik. He's looked pretty good last couple of nights.
Well, he hasn't looked all that bad, I'll tell you that. He pitched last night, and the game started by Sam LeCure. In fact, he came in the 7th inning. First inning that LeCure was out of there. Retired a couple of batters, ended up giving up a double and a walk, and then was bailed out by Arthur Rhodes.
Night before that, Andrusik pitched a perfect inning. And on the very first pitch he throws to Juan Uribe, bangs one into left field, and hold on a minute. It's a 4-run lead, but all of a sudden the Giants have 2 on with only 1 out.
Well, I just can't get over how well Juan Uribe hits a pitch that's down around the knees to the ankles. I mean, you talk about a classic low ball hitter. You're looking at one right there in Uribe. And you're afraid to pitch anybody up in this ballpark because of mistakes that just leave the yard so easily. If you're on Andrusik, you want to pound the zone anyway. Use that big, tall frame and get a little downward plane going.
Well, you hear the term all the time. You try to get a team out of slam range. The Giants are still within slam range, meaning grand slam range. And Andrusik can't be fooling around here with Pat Burrell because a guy in the on-deck circle has already hit one to the second deck tonight. Burrell has walked twice, scored a run, and grounded out to third base. 2 balls and a strike. Double play ball here. They'll have to hurry. There's one, and that's a double play. And Andrusik takes care of things in the 8th inning. Reds bat for what they hope is the last time tonight, leading.
The bullpen needed a little bit of a break. Aaron Harang went deep into the game, gave him 7 innings of 2-run baseball. Struck out just 3, walked 3, but overall he pitched a doggone good ball game. In fact, his number of ground balls were up tonight. I think he changing speeds on that breaking ball has really helped himself. And he's in line to pick up a W.
Jeremy Affeldt will stay in the game for his 2nd inning of work. He gave up 2 runs after a leadoff walk to Joey Votto in the 7th inning. Chris Heisey batting for Logan Andrusik. Logan gave up a hit, but then got that double play off the bat of Pat Burrell to end the top of this 8th inning. Two and 2 to Chris Heisey. Orlando Cabrera next, and then Brandon Phillips. Again, a reminder, no television tomorrow, the final game of this series. And again, we remind you, if you haven't seen Mike Leake, why not come on down to the ballpark for a 12:35 game? Leake trying to run his record to 6-0 with a win tomorrow. Todd Wellemeyer, whom the Reds have seen so many times through the years, both with the Cubs and the Cardinals, is scheduled to start for the Giants. In the air down the right field line by Heisey, and that is a foul ball. There was talk before this series began that Wellemeyer would not be starting the game tomorrow. He has been the one guy that has struggled, really the only guy that has struggled pretty consistently as part of that Giant starting rotation, which is very, very good, and we've seen it already in this series. But apparently he is still going to make the start unless, you know, they have a move in the offing that, you know, maybe they brought somebody in here today and they haven't told anybody about it yet. Lined into shallow center, caught by Torres. I did not hear anything just before the game today. Chris, did you hear anything about it?
I did not. I actually inquired about it, and he's still on the list to start on tomorrow. Wellemeyer with an earned run average just south of 6. So the Reds, they could hold on tonight and then get a typical game as they have seen so often out of Mike Leake. They'll try to even up this series to 2 games apiece. But the way the Giants have run through the National League Central Division is just amazing.
It is.
They are 6-0 against the Astros, 5-1 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 2-1 right now against the Reds. I think 2-1 against the Cardinals as well.
Yeah, they have the best record of any team in baseball against any other division in baseball. They only have 3 losses the entire year against the National League Central coming into play tonight. It's not like they haven't been on the National League Central Division schedule so far.
14-3.
Yeah. Fly ball shallow right. And Cabrera retired for the first time tonight. He was going for a career-high 5th hit in a game. Well, this week, Fox Saturday Baseball returns interleague play. The White Sox and the Cubs from Wrigley Field. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Chevrolet at 4 o'clock Eastern Time this Saturday. Well, the White Sox have been a huge disappointment so far this year. In fact, you could say that about both teams in the Windy City. The White Sox are 9 games under 500. And the Cubs are 6 games under 500 going into play tonight, although they lead the Brewers 8-3 that game in the 5th inning. St. Louis in Los Angeles in about a half hour from now. And the Dodgers going for the 3-game sweep. They'll send Clayton Kershaw to the mound against Adam Wainwright. 2 pretty good pitchers right there.
You're right about that. There'll be some heat in the batter's box this evening in L.A.
And I think after that game tonight, I believe that is only a 3-game series, and then the Cardinals go to Arizona. There's a ground out by Brandon Phillips to end the inning. So the 9th right around the corner. Latter third the Giants order. Reds trying to found Uribe in the 2nd inning. Our Morel hot dog play of the game.
I'll tell you, you've got to be an athlete to make that play. I'm amazed every time I see it. I mean, to come in there and barehand a ball that's spinning like that, coming off the grass, got a little overspin. He's a player.
No doubt. Hey, we want to send out get well wishes. You know, you work with guys seemingly every single day in the summer as Francisco Cordero takes over on the mound. But in Dickie Moss's case, you know, our family goes back with Dick Moss back when he was a primary engineer on the Reds on radio back in the early 1970s, engineering Reds baseball every night. And he's been with us over on the television side these many years. And out on his farm a couple of days ago, had an accident, broke his arm, required surgery to get it fixed. So I know that Dickie and his wife Ruth Ann are back watching the ball game tonight. And Dickie, get well. We can't wait to have you back.
Well, you're not kidding, Dickie. We miss you.
What a guy. In the hole at short, Cabrera throws. What a play by Cabrera. And rivaled the John Morel hot dog play of the game by Brandon Phillips you just saw a moment ago.
We're making a foot-long hot dog and give Orlando Cabrera some on this one. Up in the air, pirouetting, and a throw to Joey Votto at first base. Nice play. Make it a foot long. Another John Morel hot dog play of the game right there.
Eli Whiteside looks at ball 1. Well, the Reds now 2 outs away. This obviously is not a save chance for Cordero, but you know, Coco just trying to iron out some of the kinks that we've seen here this year. Although, you know, Chris, I don't know about you, but that obviously has been another very hot topic of conversation. And, you know, there are a lot of things that you maybe can worry about this Reds team. I don't put Cordero very high on that list to worry about. Do you?
No, I do not either. You know, if you let radio talk show callers operate a ball club, that clubhouse would look like a Greyhound bus station. They'd have people coming and going every day. So you have to have a little more patience. I mean, he's only blown 3 saves. He's got 266 to his credit. You got to believe a little bit on the back of the guy's baseball card. He's blown 4, 16-20. I'm correct myself there.
But hey, the last couple of years he has been real good.
Yeah, he has. Saved 39 last year, 34 the year before that for the Reds.
The only thing that has been different about Cordero, for my money, is he strikes out right side. Compared to other years, Chris, is he doesn't have quite the control through the first 2 months this year as the last couple of years. You agree?
Well, yeah. You know, he walked 30 batters last year in 66 innings. This year he's thrown 28 innings, so roughly a little bit, almost half. And he's walked 13, though, so he's really on the same pace as far as walks. That they just seem to be bigger this year. I think the big one was the grand slam he gave up down in Atlanta that culminated a huge comeback for the Braves and really sent the Reds out of town with their tails between their legs.
Nate Schierholtz will pinch hit.
Let me make it clear. This ball club is not going to compete in this division without Cordero saving games.
And there's strike 1 and 1 to Schierholtz. The Reds are out away from getting a much-needed win here tonight. After dropping the front 2 games of this 4-game series against the Giants from San Francisco. And one more game to go again, 12:35 tomorrow afternoon. Charging is Cabrera, and no throw. That'll be an infield hit for Schierholtz. And don't forget, if you're coming down tomorrow, the entire weekend or all year, Kroger and the Reds are proud to team up to offer you another really, really great value this season. You can check concession stands throughout the ballpark. They call it the Kroger Meal Deal. You get a full-size adult hot dog, a 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, a bag of Ritz Munchables, all for just $7. So you can come to the ballpark for a more than affordable price and also get something to eat without damaging that wallet. Runner goes first to second. They'll let him go. 0-2 on Torres. And the Herb Street boys saying one more. We might have to wait on one more. That's an RBI double by Torres to make it a 6-3 game. It may not be a safe situation, but again, the result's not where Cordero wants them. A 2-out, granted, infield hit, but followed by an 0-2 pitch for a double and an RBI.
Now, this is the one you like to get back right here. He just gets it up high, and Andres Torres has had a nice series. For a guy that we really did not know much about coming into this series, he's played very well in every position. He's hit the ball hard.
You don't want Sandoval coming to the plate here in this inning. If he does, that means the tying run's coming to the plate. 1-2 on Freddie Sanchez.
A little late on that fastball right there. One of the rare fastballs that Cordero has thrown inside. He really likes to peck away at the outside corner. And a lot of closers feel the same way.
Cordero looked like he got away with one right there.
Sometimes you get away with them so far up and so far in, they become unhittable.
1-2 to Sanchez. Struck him out, and that's the old ball game. So the Reds celebrate a victory for the first time on a season-long 10-game homestand. A 6-3 final.
Good win. It was a good win. It was all paced by starting pitching. Aaron Harang came out there and did exactly what he needed, despite giving up a home run in the second inning to Buster Posey towards the bottom of the order. He hung in there and he pitched himself a whale of a ball game. Got deep into the game, turned it over to the bullpen. The offense did it. Scott Rolen had a big night with 3 hits. Orlando Cabrera, 3-hit night. Dusty Baker and company, they got the offense rolling again, and they're going to try for one more to even up the series against the Giants tomorrow afternoon.
And we'll talk more about that when we come back. Reds win 6-3, our final score. Stay